So you made reference to this a little earlier, but when the press release came out of your taking over as dean, Bernie Maschen was quoted as saying this: Diane has a comprehensive view of the rapidly changing media industry and the challenges it faces. So we learned in 2020 that it wasn't just the media industry that was changing, the whole world was changing with the pandemic and racial injustice that was being spotlighted throughout the country and the world. I also say that leadership sort of comes together in crisis and really makes a mark in crisis. How would you evaluate what 2020 was like in your last year as dean here, and how you managed the uncertainty, the conflict, and the craziness?
Well, you always feel inadequate to a task that huge. There was no blueprint. There was no example, no history. There's so many new factors coming into play, and the convergence of them all, it was the perfect storm. And then, of course, for a period of time, we were limited to virtual interaction, and to a great extent still are. That was handicapping as well. But what I tried to do was be present and to communicate frequently. So we had a lot of town halls. We had Zoom sessions that were simply just to listen to everybody and to make sure that that the dean's office was considering everything that needed to be considered. And there was a great deal of pain and uncertainty throughout the year, and it wasn't the way I envisioned spending my last year as dean, quite the contrary, but I'm glad I was here to do that. I'm glad I was able to be present, because I think it would have been even more difficult for a new dean who didn't know the organization and the things to look out for. Yeah. And I'm so proud of this organization for how it's handled it. Oh my gosh, I mean, the quick move to online, I mean, that pivot was literally overnight. It was less than a week. And just the sensibility about what needed to be done and the concern about colleagues, and everybody rallied, and it speaks volumes about the caliber of this organization.
One of the many things that I've been impressed with is, ever since your announcement that you were going to retire, never stopped charging ahead, never stopped challenging us. But the time's going to come when you're going to transition. Will there be anything left on your to-do list?
I'm going to be squeezing every last drop out of this job. I'm so reluctant about the retirement. But, there are two things that I've committed to get done before I leave. One is to make sure that leadership for the Trust Consortium is in place and a plan is implemented to carry that forward, because never has it been more essential. And the other is President Fox asked me to lead an initiative to establish UF's core values. And that's near and dear to my heart, because I've always said, leaders, you always lead by placing the values front and center. So those two things will be completed. And then along the lines, there are other smaller things. I'm trying to reach out to all of our major supporters, whether it's as volunteers or through financial support. I'm having conversations with many of them. I think the thing that is most painful for me is that I can't have hallway conversations. So I'm going to be staying in Gainesville, and you all will probably get sick of seeing me, because I'll be around to have those conversations and to reconnect with the college before, I disappear.